listen. If women were doing what they were supposed to do in the house, the side chick would be inexistent.
What are those things?
Wouldn't
What are
be
those
need
things,
for
Yogi? What are those things the women's supposed to be in the house doing so the side chicks don't exist?
Oh, she set
What
you
we
up
gotta
on
do?
that.
What
Oh,
we
she
gotta
set
do to
you up
keep the
on
side
that
chicks out?
one.
What's that? What is it?
Why you want to do me like that? Why,
You
listen,
said it. You
this-
came. You came
it's-
with it too.
it is not. Is it not? It's not. It should be obvious. We just want you. We just want you to talk to. We want you to listen to us. Stop talking. And see, you're gonna make me go here. I didn't want to go here. But we want you to stop talking so much. We want you to sit down somewhere else. Stop being running all around, spending up all the money. We want you. Now, this is my my list. Okay, this is not there.
I'm very interested in your list.
No, I'm having
Sit
fun.
down.
But
Wait, let's go again. Sit down somewhere.
sit down
Stop talking
somewhere.
so much.
Stop talking so much.
Mhm.
Stop talking so much.
Yeah.
And pay me some attention and clean this house up.
Let's get to the topic of the discussion and hit the issues you typically find reluctant. Remove the facade to fill the gap with some substance. We undermining problems, expecting to overcome it. Please hold the applause. We doing it for the cause. People follow culture before they follow the laws. We rather face the friction and not attempt it at all. Persistence will find solutions once our contentment dissolves. There's a hard pill to swallow for anyone breathing. Both for folks who stay woke and those who be dreaming. We ain't slaves, yet we still ain't experienced freedom. What we need is the keys to access the kingdom. We're all in this fallen world trying to stay intact. I'm just a beggar, point you out to where the bread is at. So follow the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Thank Yogi Bear and the thought engineer for that on Talk Monday. It's Man Talk Monday. Woo!
We are back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Man Talk Mondays.
Once again, it's on.
Boom. Just like that.
Yes.
Just like that. I'm Derek, the thought engineer. Y'all know who this man is. Next to me, comedian John Yogi. How you feeling tonight, man?
Man, I am ready. Listen, I couldn't sleep last night because the comments and everything last week's show was bananas.
Oh.
And I was ready. I am ready to get into this one.
This how crazy it got. This how crazy. So I loaded a clip of part of the show where our guest, Mr. Genesis Martin, gave me this revelation that my mom was trying to protect me and my son. I put it out there. Let me tell you, people on the internet are mean. They are mean. They was talking so much craziness, so much trash. And I'm like, listen, people don't understand. You end up in situations like this a lot of times. It's not on purpose. Yeah. You look up and your heart then got caught up in something, and next thing you know, you in what they call them situationships. I don't know what you call them, but it's easy to end up in stuff like this.
Yeah, but it's crazy because people want you to show compassion to them.
But
we have none for you, sir. None for you. We have none for you. It's like, whoa. This is my story, my life.
Right.
Y'all deal with y'all's accordingly.
Right.
Because listen, believe me, he is not the only person that has gone through this kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I think this kind of stuff touches all of us.
Yes.
In one way or another. If we would be honest about it. But most of y'all gonna lie about it.
Boy, what you talking about?
And instead
nothing but lie.
Instead of being honest where you can help somebody else. Because see, at this point, we're trying to help people.
Yeah.
We don't even care about how we look. We're just trying to help people.
And I appreciate it because there's people in the comments that are like, man, I feel what you're saying. So there are people who are going through this, people who've gone through this, because this is a thing that touches everybody. We're in our series called Shattered Bonds, Infidelity and the Impact on the Family Dynamic. So we get in the perspective of everybody involved and how it impacts them. So you got the other woman / side chick who we covered last week.
That was last week.
You got the wife, you got the husband, you got the legitimate children that's in the house, and then you got the children that were born outside of the house, the illegitimate children. And all of these people are impacted by this one act. And we're talking about how it impacts everybody, getting everybody a chance to say what it happened with them. How did it affect them? So everybody understands just how deep all this stuff goes, so we can be smarter, make better decisions, the whole nine. We just trying to help somebody. That's all.
And after we get through with the series, actually we're gonna bring in counselors and people that can help you guys that are going, some people that are going through some things. We just don't want to rip the Band-Aid off and have blood everywhere. We're gonna go back in and we're gonna fix the arm back up so you'll be good now.
Yeah, because we're talking about traumas. We're talking about
absolutely,
things that people are still dealing with in adulthood, and this is stuff that happened years ago. So we working on the healing. So last week we talked about the other woman, her point of view. This week, we're going to bring it around to the wife.
That heifer. That heifer that made that man cheat.
Oh.
She made that man cheat. That man was at home minding his own business. That man was minding his own business. And that woman made him cheat.
It's that woman you gave me.
Hello? We better get this in before she get on with it.
Yeah, because we got to get it in now. Because our guest, you saw her first last week. She was joining us. Now, the conversation we have tonight is Betrayal and Heartache, the wife's journey through infidelity. And bringing her back again, she was back by popular demand. We have the licensed therapist, Miss Genesis Martin.
Hello.
How you doing tonight?
How are you today? I'm ready.
You're good. You ready? You
Yes.
ready?
I'm ready for y'all. Yes. And for the audience, because you already know the questions that came last week.
Yeah. I think you're gonna have people be coming for us, so you probably gonna have a lot of support from the audience anyway. So it's all good. It's all good. So we're talking about the wife, betrayal and heartache. And so when you look at this whole thing, talking about infidelity, how are we defining infidelity? What are we saying it is? How would you lay it out to somebody who came to you and looking for your advice and your help?
So we have to define what infidelity is, because for some people it's strictly physical. For some people it is emotional. For some people it is spending time with someone or just even talking with somebody that they don't know about.
Yeah.
So with each couple, the definition of infidelity is going to be different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it based on the value system of the person who's interpreting it? Because some people are like, if you talking to somebody, y'all in deep conversation, that's a level of intimacy that I call that infidelity. And some people like, well, I didn't touch nobody, so it ain't cheating.
Well, if you gotta lie about it, you're probably cheating. If you can't be honest about the relationship that you have with somebody else, then it's probably cheating somewhere in there.
Something's wrong.
You have said something. Yes, absolutely. You have said something that you shouldn't have said. You have confided in them about something that you shouldn't have. You have shown them something. Whoa, how'd they get out of here? You have shown them something that you shouldn't show them. You have probably leaned on them, and the relationship has went to a place that this is the fun thing about infidelity. It's coming. It's not like it all of a sudden, I don't know how we got here. No. There are steps, there are gradual steps to infidelity. Oh, really? Well, my wife sure been tripping. Really?
Yeah.
Tell me all about it.
Yeah.
And you like, because there's nothing wrong initially, but if you keep on, if a man and a woman keep on, if they're not huffing and puffing, it's gonna be some other stuff going. It's gonna be some other stuff going on.
Well,
because Go ahead.
What about telling another woman about your wife? That's rule number one. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because and to that point, because she's always going to have the right answer. The woman that you're not with is going to always have the right answer when you're talking about your wife,
Yeah.
about what she would do.
Yeah.
hmm hmm And you have to remember, you're not sharing bills with her. You're not sharing all of the adult things, the adulting that we do. You're not sharing a
Right.
bathroom with her. Everything with
Boy,
that
tell
other
me about
person,
it.
for real, and everything with that other person is fun. It's all
Yeah.
dating. It's all whatever. And so and I've always said this, some women can be very treacherous. Like we know how to talk to you. We know all that. Yeah, my wife don't cook. She don't this. She don't that. Next thing you know, she's bringing you home cooked food. That
Yeah.
goes on. Absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I just for the people in the back didn't quite hear the treacherous part. Can you repeat that one more
Oh, you like that
time?
part, right? So there are some SOME women who can be treacherous.
Hmm.
Absolutely, that they want you as a man, and they will go after you, and they will try to get you, and they know how to do it.
And I was thinking about this earlier. Is there not, I'm not gonna call it a woman code, girl code, but shouldn't there be a societal responsibility of for women to say that man is off limits?
hmm
Wow.
Yes,
That's but
there.
culturally we don't do that.
No, no, we don't.
Go ahead, Doc.
We
You don't mind?
don't.
I'm gonna
We
call you
don't.
Doc. I'm
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
well, you promoted me, but okay. Yeah, I think there should be a girl code. And my friends and I, the girl code is any man that you've ever touched at any point, at any time in your
Mm,
existence is off limits.
yeah, yeah,
There are 8 billion people on the planet. I don't need the X of one of my friends. That's number one, right?
yes.
And in terms of if a man has a woman, and we can go back to what was last week. Some
Hmm.
women, they get something out of that. I'm not playing second. Like it depends on who the woman is and what her
Hmm.
Right.
desires and goals are, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that that man should be off limits, but everybody has their own desires, they have their own wants. And sometimes the man, like we talked about last week, Yogi's gonna try to fall all out, but sometimes the man will seek out the woman and put
yeah,
pressure, yes,
Hmm.
until
yeah,
she gives in. That happens too.
yeah. It's that
Yeah.
hunter,
Yes.
that
Yes.
Yep.
hunter by
Hmm.
nature.
Hmm.
hmm
But because when you look at the people inside the marriage, the man and the woman inside the marriage, and their responsibility to each other is clear,
Yes.
but there's not a social response, and it's gotten a whole lot worse because our society is so focused on self, my
Yes.
own self gratification, what I want, and the whole nine, to the point to where nobody is, if that's her man, like, won't be for long. You hear people say stuff like that.
hmm hmm Do you remember that song? I don't know if you're old enough. If that's your boyfriend, he wasn't last night by
Yeah,
Michelle and Deggy Cello.
yeah,
If
yeah.
that's your boyfriend, he wasn't
He
last
wasn't
night.
last night.
He
Yeah,
wasn't your boyfriend last night, right? Yeah, you would think. I mean, and then just the hygiene of it. Like I just think
oh
too much.
wow,
Yeah,
oh
like
wow,
yes,
yeah.
right. I don't know if y'all want to go there, but are we talking about the side that woman? Or are we talking about the wife's feelings? Where are we going today? Because I'm ready.
We talking about
All of it.
the wife's feelings,
Mm-hmm.
but a woman telling herself, I wouldn't want to put another woman through that. So let me take my hands off, or, what I'm saying, not, I know this her husband, let me chill. But you don't see that. You see women knowing that a man is attached, he's married, and they will pursue.
Mm-hmm.
They will pursue. And I'm like, we're creating more of an issue we're talking about the wife, the propensity for the wife to go through something is increased because everybody's looking out for self and nobody's looking out for the next person.
But
Yeah.
before we get into that, because the conversation is really heating up, so let me jump in. Remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to do some things with our subscription. We're trying to get up to 1,000 today and 2,000 tomorrow. But today we are a little short of 1,000. So we need you guys, if you are enjoying the conversation, like, share, and subscribe. Now we'll be getting back to betrayal and heartache, the wife's journey through infidelity.
You need some background music for that, though.
We did. Dun, dun, dun. You know,
Right.
but what about the husband here? Like, he does have the response. He is the one in the middle. He is the one who has made the vow, right? But I think we also have to understand that there are people who are living as married, even though they're not technically married. It falls the same way. So when I see people like that, I act as if it's a marriage. They're living as if it's a marriage. So we'll use that interchangeably if we can. Yeah. The husband is the one who has the vow.
Yeah. Let me get to the comments because my producer gonna kill me if I don't. Gloria Finsroy says, what is the difference in cheating and infidelity? Is there a difference between those?
It's the same thing. No. It's the same.
Potato, basically.
Yes, it's the same thing. You both add salt. You can add salt and pepper to both of them and eat them. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same tomato. It's the same potato. Which that's what I'm saying. I think it's cheating.
Okay. Stephanie Line says it's a vibe / energy of availability that people carry.
I agree with that.
Wow.
Afia says she said she ready. Okay.
I'm ready for them.
Okay. Stephanie says even if they are married, they're still available.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And perhaps that's the caveat. Both people letting the other one know they're available. Even when there's commitment to other people, maybe that's the infidelity. Just the thought of you letting them know that I'm available if you want something, or vice versa.
Do situations create the availability though?
I think so.
No. You think so? You don't have to be. You don't need to be available. You don't need to be available before it even gets there though, because when you're not available, it's funny. You can elude certain things when you're not available.
Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. When I say situations create the availability, they got those Brazilian steakhouses where you turn your card over to green when you want them to bring the meat by. Right. You turn it on red when you don't want.
Right.
People can have their card on red, but what makes them turn it over to green?
When they content, they fool.
No, green means I'm available. Green means
more.
Yeah.
Oh,
they want more.
Okay.
Yeah, because a person gets in, and let's say they go in with the right intention, it's me, my wife, and all of a sudden,
you hear
years later, now
you hear something,
that availability starts to come more to light. Now, what creates this whole thing to where people? Yeah.
You ready? Okay.
We ready. You ready?
The work environment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The gym, the whatever, where people are seeing one another on a consistent basis, because somebody can be, planning to be faithful. Somebody can be faithful. And then they're put in a situation with somebody that they maybe find some attraction to, and they're seeing this person on a regular basis. Now, let's hold that. You have a spouse at home. Everything's not always perfect. Right. So that combination can create some sort of availability. Not saying it shouldn't, but that is what happens sometimes. People become familiar. They're not just running out to the club and having the one night stand typically. That's not typically how it happens.
Yeah, and I think that one becomes a little more dangerous. Cheryl says people want what they want and don't care about the wife or whoever they are betraying. They are out there for selfish gain. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's necessarily the case though. Let me get Stephanie. Stephanie says some people don't need a reason to turn it green, just greedy. And you're right. You right. Some people they just stuck on just doing wrong stuff. Yeah. Anthony says green is when they feel green is when they feel they are missing something from their mate.
Yes. This is where we communicate though. If I'm missing something from you, I communicate with you and say, hey, I'm missing something. I don't just run out and get it somewhere else.
But if you're the wife and you're being cheated on,
yeah,
aren't there signs? Because nobody just, well, I don't want to say nobody, but most of the time there are signs. There are things going on in the house where everybody can kind of tell things are off. Mm-hmm. And most of the time when things are off, the house can tell, hey, mom, you might want to check. You might want to check and see what's going on with dad. Or the kids have noticed that mom and dad are arguing a lot. Mm-hmm. Or mom has cut the water off in the house, not the drinking water.
Brother thirsty around here.
Exactly. And I'm saying, I just think there are things that I think anytime the husband steps out of the house, I think both parties are at fault for it. Now, like you said last week, I believe that the husband does have a choice and a decision to make, but the wife could help make that decision a lot easier for him if she at least act like she was willing to at least try to make it work. Am I correct? Am I way off?
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying. So if a husband is unhappy, right?
Yes.
Then the wife needs to understand, hey, something's going on with my man. Let me figure out what that is and all of that to make sure he doesn't cheat on me. Did I hear that right?
You making it sound way. But that's it. But that's pretty much it, though. You made it sound way harsher. But that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
So, now I remember this pastor saying one time. He said, "Feed your dog at home because he's hungry. Don't make him go looking for a meal elsewhere."
But I do want to say this: most of the times when I've worked with couples, it was not that dramatic of a change scene.
Yeah,
it was pretty seamless.
Really?
Okay?
Wow.
Yes, because either there's no guilt or they already went through the guilt. So now it's just, they done tripped up in it or whatever the case may be. But it's not that obvious when people are having relations. It's not always that obvious that that the husband is stepping out.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Everybody write this down. I'm going to agree with her this one time. But this one time, the reason why is because you have already went through it in your head. You have already said, listen, if they don't do this, or if she keeps on with this, I'm going to do this. You've already, like you said, the decision has been made. So we long past guilt because it takes place here way before it takes place with your body.
Correct. 100%.
Stephanie,
so y'all are not slipping and sliding and it's like, oh, the lipstick on the collar. That might happen. Let me tell you how that happens. That happens when the other woman wants that to happen.
Yeah,
say that. Say that.
The little the hair clip somewhere, the whatever. That's when the other woman wants that to happen. But typically, I'm not going to say it's a surprise. Women kind of feel it because sometimes the man is not being intimate with her. It really just all depends on the relationship between the two people because some people have no awareness at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Does comfort create that though? That blindness? Does comfort create? We've gotten too comfortable with the relationship, so I'm blind to the signals that somebody might be giving me.
That's a good question. Comfortability. I guess my perspective on that is don't ever get too comfortable. Okay. And I don't mean that you're not supposed to be able to relax, but don't get too comfortable to the point that you're taking your spouse for granted or they're taking you for granted. We can't have that, right?
Yeah.
Because some people out of the 4 choices, right, of stay, seek therapy, or work on it, leave or cheat. Some people are going to cheat. You have the choices. Yeah. Some people are just going to do that because that seems to be the easiest of the choices. I'm just going to go ahead and cheat and then that's going to make my marriage better. Some people think that.
Yeah.
I want to cheat and it's going to make the marriage better.
Because I've heard people say that.
Oh,
I've heard people say men cheat to stay, women cheat to leave. I heard people make that statement before.
yes.
Well,
and people
what
believe
if that statement? If men do think that's true, that's because most of the time the women, and this gets us into some completely different. But most of the time the women, if she's not paying you any attention, normally when somebody else starts sniffing around the yard is when she'll start paying you more attention. Because oftentimes we don't want what other people don't want, and sometimes we get fat, we get lazy, and again we take our relationships for granted, and you get to seeing the same old guy, like you said. You get this guy 100% of the time. He's a slob. She's it's just so much. Relationships are tough, and I think we forget sometimes that we have to work on them 100% of the time.
One of the things people got to understand: familiarity breeds contempt.
Mm-hmm.
The more familiar you become with somebody, they just become common, and they don't hold that same aura with you that they did before. I tell people all the time. People talk about Halle Berry. When you get married to Halle Berry, she just Halle after a while.
That's right.
She just
Yeah, she just sit down somewhere.
Right. So I think
sit down somewhere.
I think as married couples, we got to be aware that you're going to hit this patch where you just common with each other, and things are going to feel like, ain't no spark. You don't love me, and all this kind of stuff.
No, that's why you come to a counselor. When it starts feeling like that, you come to a counselor, because that's when we start to put things in place to re-spark that, to re-energize that, to evolve your relationship so that it doesn't stay like that. You cannot allow it to stay like that.
Yeah. Gloria Fitzroy says, when a person is emotional and physically tied to a person, it creates infidelity. But when you cheat with a man, you may not be emotionally, physically tied to him. So she's saying cheating is just trying to catch you a quick feeling. But infidelity is when your heart starts getting tied into what you're doing with somebody else. It's the long walks in the park and the secret dinners and the secret vacations.
Yeah, but women generally, well, and again, I'm old school, if y'all can tell by the bird. but most of the time, women don't cheat unless you have their heart.
What's that mean? What's that mean?
Well, generally, if I have your heart, it means I got your head. And if I got your heart and your head, generally the rest of you coming.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
And it takes time. You have to trust me. You have to know that you can talk to me. I got to be able to do all of the things that you're not getting at home, and you got to think that I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, in order to let your guard down and say, well, you know what? If I was with him, things would be better.
Yeah, the fantasy kicks.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's because it's way more fantasy than reality.
Yeah.
When women cheat, y'all telling me about how women feel when they cheat?
Well, I don't really know.
That's what it is. I do want to give a tiny bit of game. I don't even know if it's game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Give us some game. Game.
If a woman I think it's going with what you're saying, Yogi. If a woman is in love with a man, she's in love. She will not cheat on him unless he's cheated.
Really?
If a woman is cheating on a man, right? Either he's cheated, she thought he has, all of that. I saw the number, whatever. And then, or she's not in love with him. Because when a woman is in love with her man, she's not going, even if she's look at True, even if she's unhappy with him.
Yes.
Like I said, even if she's unhappy, she's not going to do it. If even some of them, even if he cheats, they still might not. But I'm gonna move on from that because I don't want the male ego to go too far. It's still gonna be different.
We about to go down the rabbit hole on that.
But if she's cheating on a man and he has not cheated on her, she's not in love with you.
Right.
10 toes down.
Exactly. She's absolutely right. Because, and I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna move on because we're gonna get into what the wife goes through emotionally.
We gotta get to the
But
wife.
but I gotta say this. I gotta say this because a lot of times women will marry the guy that's available, not the person they really want to be with.
Uh-oh, Derek.
No, but see, if you're gonna open that door, you can't open
They,
it.
they don't because he's
What
too
made him go
risky.
there? What made
He's
him
too
go-
risky. He's gonna make a fool out of me. So let me go with the one where everybody gonna look at me and say, "Girl, you got you a good one," and all this type of stuff. And the whole time, your heart is over there
somebody else
with Junebug, and now this man is going through because now that you didn't locked him in, you doing you.
That's a fact.
But that's a whole nother thing.
No.
That is a whole nother thing.
I just want to hear before I dive all over that. I just want to know what you have to say about it.
Okay,
It has to be talked about.
I'm going to tell you, my father, rest in peace. He said to me, I don't know, I was 18 or 19 years old. He looked at me and he said, "Listen, everybody's married to the wrong person."
Oh wow.
Yes, he did. And I was like,
no, he did not say that.
Yes, he did. And it was exactly what Derek just said. He said that sometimes women will marry who they love, and it can go bad. I did that. It went terribly wrong. But you're absolutely right. And I think some of the elders, when we're talking about young millennials and Gen Z, it is different. It is different for them. But I'm Gen X and so on. So the older women will tell you, girl, don't worry about loving him. You better get you a good man. They will say that thing. And I'm like, I don't want to have to, roll over to somebody I'm not attracted to every day.
Yeah.
But they will. They used to tell us. How come my comments ain't coming out? They used to tell us that.
Wow.
Yes.
It's fun. This is when you get old, you have all these stories in your head. because my mom was a single mom with 3 boys, and she told all of us. She didn't tell us a bunch, but she said, make sure you marry somebody that's in love with you. You marry somebody that's chasing you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't marry nobody that you chasing, because you're gonna forever be chasing, trying to make them love you the way that you want to be loved. She said, you get somebody and it's funny because in my relationships, I had someone that I was chasing, and all I remember is chasing them. That's all I remember is chasing them.
Yeah.
I never remember them ever stopping so I could catch them. I just remember chasing them all the time. And as I got older, when I married, I was like, let me make sure I find somebody that's in love with me, that I don't have to spend the rest of my life chasing them. Because definitely I was chasing.
Yes.
So let's get into what the wife goes through emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, she finds the text message, or she finds the pictures in the phone, or she pops up on him at work and sees him way too friendly with the person she was suspicious about, or what does she go through emotionally when this discovery happens?
But before you answer that, okay, I just need people to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
Remember, guys, we're trying to do something special. To be honest, we're trying to get this out to as many people as we can, because there are a lot of people going through this stuff and they're not really understanding why they're feeling the way they're feeling. Help us help you get out to these people. Like, share, and subscribe. Now back to Betrayal and Heartache. A wife's journey through infidelity with Man Talk Monday and Dr. Genesis.
She said you promoted her doctor.
Yes, we're going to Dr. Genesis.
I do want to remind you, before I answer that question, I want to remind you all of the elevator incident with Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Solange.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. We do remember.
Okay.
Yes.
So those of us in mental health and with discernment knew exactly what that was about. For a woman to allow her sister to bang on her husband like that, and for her to do that, we all knew that was infidelity, right? There was a lot of it.
Yeah.
And for Beyonce not to move as she was doing it, not to address her sister at all while she's doing it, it can only be infidelity.
Into the corner, so her dress, right? So I'm going to tell you from my own experience, as well as women that I've spoken to over years and in my profession. It is traumatic. It
Wow.
is traumatic when a woman finds out that her man is cheating, even if she suspects it. When it is confirmed, it is a trauma. The emotional impact is different for different women. It depends on, is this the first time he's cheated? Is it the second time? Are we married? Or are we not married? Is
Right.
he in love with the other woman? Was there a baby conceived? You know, there's so many
Mm,
different things that can come, but I will say that it is extremely traumatic when couples come to me. The woman is in a state of depression, clearly in a state of depression, sometimes anxiety.
Yeah.
It's a very, very difficult thing for women to swallow and to process. It's painful.
so I'm curious, and it's gonna sound like a real duh question, but what makes it so hard? What makes it so difficult?
I'm glad you asked that because I'm going to get into it for real. So I don't think what men realize is it's like, I'm just, it don't mean nothing to me. No, women, we're looking at our man. We're envisioning you making love to another woman the way that you make love to us. Imagine that.
Mm,
We're envisioning what else is in that relationship. We're envisioning, what do they talk about? What does she know that I don't know? We're envisioning, what will some do this? What does she look like? Is she prettier than me? Is she taller, shorter, thinner? Is she can have a better body? We envision, is she going to take him from me?
mm,
There's all of these different questions and concerns, and then it starts to eat away at a woman's self-esteem. That's the worst
mm.
part about it, because the woman, and I remember, I don't really listen to Cardi B, but there was something in one of her songs where she said, "You got me looking in the mirror different."
Oh
Women look
wow.
in the mirror. That's a big one. What's wrong?
Yes.
What's wrong with me? And the work that I put in to make these women know that it is not about them is a lot,
Hmm.
because women take that personally.
Wow.
I
Wow.
need men to
Wow.
understand that.
And you know what? And I'm listening to you, and I thought that was us. We are very visual creatures, and if our wife is treated or some, we run through it goes through our minds.
Hmm.
Visually, we see it
Yeah.
Hmm.
in our minds,
Yes.
and so
We do too.
yes, I thought it was just us, and
No.
it does the same thing for us. It starts to make us question ourselves, in the whole nine too.
Mhm.
So I didn't. Yeah, that wow.
Remember the movie
Well,
The Best Man,
Yes,
yes.
when he kept having those flashbacks of her?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Women, we have that too.
Yes, I remember.
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
Well,
Absolutely.
but okay. But what I am finding though, most of the time, women are a lot more insecure than I think you would think. Than men would think most of the time. But it just seems like it would be so much easier. So after women get married, generally they change. The woman that you're dating is, most of the time we don't end up with that woman when we get married. Now, and again, I'm not saying that a man should cheat. I'm not saying it. I'm just simply saying, if there was some consistency with women, if you were the woman that was trying to get me, you did a 180 after you got me.
Right. When we was dating, I had to beat you off me with a stick.
Exactly.
As soon as we get married,
Now I can't find you.
right, right, right.
As soon as we get married, or do we have our kids coming along, or what's going
Okay.
on?
Well, okay, let's do this thing. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm gonna give you kids. I'm gonna say after the kids come, because now after the kids come, now I gotta split. Your time is divided between me and the kids, and most of the time the kids are gonna win. Let's go before the kids, because
Mhm.
now you're married.
Mhm.
Now this is what you've been wanting. Now you got to be with your married friends now, spending more time with them than you are with me. I'm
Mhm.
just that to me, I just think as a couple, we need to do a better job of making sure everybody stays in the house and nobody's cheating. And I think we're too lackadaisical about that. That's why we have so many side women. If women were doing what they were supposed to do in the house, the side chick would be inexistent.
What are those things?
Wouldn't
What are
be
those
need
things,
for
Yogi? What are those things that women's supposed to be in the house doing so the side chicks don't do them?
Oh, she set
What
you
we
up.
gotta do?
Oh,
What we
she
gotta
set
do
you
to
up
keep
on
the
that
side
one.
What's that? What is it?
Why you want to do me like that? Right?
You
Listen,
said it. You came
it's-
with it too.
It should be obvious. We just want you to talk to. We want you to listen to us. Stop talking. And see, you're gonna make me go. I didn't want to go here. But we want you to stop talking so much. We want you to sit down somewhere else. Stop being running all around, spending up all the money. We want you. Now, this is my list. Okay, this is not Derek.
I am very interested in your list.
No, I'm having fun. But
let's go again. Sit down somewhere.
Sit down somewhere.
Stop
talking so much.
Mhm.
Stop talking so much.
Yeah.
And pay me some attention and clean this house up. Matter of fact, when you get
I was waiting on it.
When you get them clean,
clean it up.
Clean it. Am I is that because you were doing it? You were doing it when we were dating.
We was cleaning. I was cleaning the house.
Yeah, listen, because you set
a
level of
your house.
You set a level of expectation. And once we get married, now you want to change that. And I'm expecting what you gave me before. Am I wrong for doing that? Is that wrong?
Not wrong. See, we getting along. You are not wrong.
I'm surprised too.
Right? He was like, wait a minute.
He waiting on the other shoe to drop. That's what he.
One of the things, please read this comment after I'm done, please. One of the things that I do in premarital counseling is address that exactly. Okay. And
wow.
Okay. So something that is very important with couples is what I call protected time every day. Okay. Yeah. You have to have it because that time, and I only ask for a half hour because that time keeps you connected in those ways. That time, keeps you, okay, let's cut out the world. This is about us. And it allows for that on a daily basis, right? And so you can remove some of those other problems that the two of you may have that come up. Because each couple is different. Sometimes the man likes to cook and the woman likes to clean. The man likes to do laundry and the woman likes to do yard work, right? So it depends on, the two people in the couple, but there is a necessity to spend time daily with each other.
Now, I'm going to tell you my theory when it comes to single parent homes, the kids that's raised by a single mother.
Yes.
The boy knows how to keep a house and cook. The women are lacking in that area because they were told you go out and you get it so you never have to depend on a man. Damn. But the man gets all the domestic teaching. The little boy gets all the domestic teaching.
Wow. That's good,
my mama brought me in the kitchen when I was 6 and said to me directly, come on in here, let me teach you how to cook just in case you get a wife that can't cook.
She must have been a prophet because
I'm serious as a heart attack. This is what she told me. First thing I learned to cook was scrambled eggs, but she told me. I still cook to this day. I still cook to this day. And I was the cook in my house for a number of years. My wife has started cooking. She has started cooking. I can sit on the couch and let her do her thing and the whole nine. But for years, it was me.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted that single parent home thing. That I want to get back to Anthony's comment. See if my producer can find it.
Can I just ask you before we do Anthony's comment? Because you said something very powerful also. You said that they teach the women, right? How to not depend on a man. That is precisely what my mother taught me. Precisely what she said. Get your education, and precisely. She was a single mother. My parents divorced. That I had 3 kids. I divorced and all that. I have a son. I have 2 daughters. I made different decisions looking at God for it. You get what I'm trying to say? Because I was like, okay, it's not working kind of like that a little bit. So let's figure it out. But you know what, the other thing that we have to address though, is that women are working outside of the house also. So when both people
True.
are working outside of the house, you then have to say, okay, she used to be the domestic person. What are we going to do with all of these domestic responsibilities? And that's not conversations that are had. Those are conversations that end up arguing. So I just wanted to say that. And then
Oh no, I
you said
definitely understand. I definitely understand.
Mhm.
And my producer, she probably lost that comment. I'm gonna see if she get it back in a minute. But Gloria Finsroy says, what I found, if a woman don't heal from the infidelity relationship, she will bleed on people who didn't cut her.
Mhm.
So
100%.
so how do you counsel a woman who now her whole attitude, just her whole demeanor, attitude has changed since the infidelity?
And
Can she get that back?
I got a question too after that one. I got one in the chamber. So go ahead. That's
Can she get back her softness is what you mean?
Yeah, can she get back to that place, or is it
Yes.
just gone? Okay.
No, she can get back to that place. That's a choice, right? So a woman needs, all feelings need to be acknowledged and validated. Feelings need to be acknowledged and validated. And if she gets enough acknowledgement and validation about what she went through, if she does her own personal work, if she looks at herself, if she looks at the decisions that she made in her partner, if she looks at what went wrong, all of those types of things, if she can forgive, and forgive being releasing herself from the negative emotional attachment to him, then yes, she can move forward without all that pain and suffering. Yes.
But does she have to take some ownership in what happened as well, to say, there's a chance that I might have played a part in this? Or
Yes.
do you just put it all on him?
No, I'm not going to put it all on him. What I'm putting on him is his decision to cheat, the type of decision he made. That's what I'm putting on him. The failures in the relationship, I'm putting on both of them. But he had a decision. He had 4 decisions plus more, but 4 primary decisions, and he chose to cheat. So that's his decision. That's on him. The problems in the relationship are on both of them.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. No, I definitely get that.
Yeah.
What happens, or is it more hurtful if there's a kid that comes about because of the infidelity?
Yeah.
Why you thinking I can, let me jump right on that.
Go ahead.
Absolutely it is. You know why?
Yes.
Because she has to constantly be reminded of his infidelity. For every birthday, every time she sees the kid, if he has anything to do with the kid, that's if she's going to allow him to have anything to do with the kid. Most of the time they don't. Most of the time that woman's not, because nobody wants to keep reliving that particular thing.
Yeah.
I think that, that's one of the worst things that happens.
So I'm curious, Genesis, how do you counsel the woman who husband did have a child outside of marriage? He cheated on her, had a child. How do you counsel the woman in regards to the child?
So it depends on exactly what Yogi was saying. How are they managing the child situation? Is the child a part of their life or not? Right? So there are situations where the child is not a part of their life, right? So from her perspective, some women can't deal, and the relationship falls apart. Like some women just can't do it, because it means that the husband is going to either have to go and see the child without her, or like you say, Yogi, she's going to have to see the child, which is the constant reminder, right? And so some marriages don't make it through that, but some marriages will make it. He will not have anything to do with the child except maybe child support or whatever. I think that's very unfortunate, because the child had nothing to do with that, right?
Yeah.
But that is forever a situation. That is forever a situation. I don't think that there's ever any true, my opinion now, I don't think that there's ever any true full healing off of that.
Wow. A permanent A permanent wound.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. So I actually have a live example of this. A friend of mine had her baby, and at that time you stayed in like 2 days. Now they kick you out one day. But I called her at the hospital, and she said, hang on a second. And I was like, oh, what's wrong? And she told me that another woman called her in the hospital and told her that she had her husband's
no
5 months prior. So in that situation, I mean, she was just devastated. Like, this was probably 16 years ago, and it's a minimal thing in their daily life, but it is still a thing for her.
Yes.
It was very, very painful. She went through Bell's palsy. She went through all types of psychiatric issues. It was terrible.
Well, to your point, Genesis, you said that when a man cheats, it causes the woman to look in the mirror differently.
Yes.
So, well, imagine looking in the mirror differently and knowing that woman has a connection to that particular woman. Because as long as that child, until that child gets 18, there's, in her mind, she could be thinking there is still a chance that I can get him back because I got his son. I got his daughter.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Wow.
And it goes beyond 18, right? Because now they share.
Yeah.
They're going to share grandchildren.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Weddings, whatever, all that.
Weddings,
graduations. I mean, it's forever.
Well, and it's one thing to be the woman that was cheated on, you can almost file it away as my husband made a mistake. But when you start bringing kids in, and now it's something that I have to live with. Now we're older, and I am constantly reminded of the mistake that he made by the kids or grandkids or whatever that know that they have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I think it's, oh man, I didn't think it was, it's funny as a guy, and I can say this honestly, I never really thought about the difficulties of what that woman will be going through when that happens. I never truly thought about it until you're on talk, because that would be a really, really big deal.
That's my struggle when couples come with infidelity, is that the man is like, I said I'm sorry, let's move on. You know what I'm saying? They don't get it. And so they got to get it first, right? Like I said, acknowledgement and validation. They got to get it. And then there has to be a plan for trust to be restored.
Yeah.
Right? But they don't get it. I did that. It didn't mean nothing. Come on, let's move on.
Wow.
That's not how it works.
I'm reminded of a situation. That was this couple that we knew, and the man, he ended up stepping outside of the marriage and sleeping with another woman who was married. Now he was a black man. The woman was Caucasian. So baby comes. The woman's husband tells them, "You're not keeping this black baby." Now, because all the rest of her kids are white. So he said, "No, you're not keeping this black baby."
It's one thing to do it.
So now that baby ends up with the man who cheated and his wife.
Yeah.
Right.
He has to take care of this baby now, because the husband said, "You can't bring that baby around here." So now the baby
gave that baby to
now
him.
The baby is in the house.
Okay.
You're raising the baby in the house. Traumatic.
Beyond. I don't even understand how to think like that, to be honest. Just me personally, like it just could not be a thing for me.
Because I was just going to say, what kind of person would you have to be?
Well, as the man, as who?
As the wife.
Okay,
as the wife. What kind of person would you have to be?
Let's go with the one who's going to give up her child first.
Oh, yeah.
Never thought about that part of it.
Yeah, I never thought about that part.
All I can think about is the woman that had to take her. They had to look at the face of the child every day
I'm going there because then the baby's biracial. So now
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
sees that woman in that child all the time. Like, I'm wondering why she did it at that point, right? Because there's a degree of disrespect, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a line between I love this person, we have a marriage and the family and all this, and
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
disrespected me to the degree that we can no longer function this way,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So in that situation, that happened. Did y'all see Cadillac Records?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I
Remember
Yeah,
did.
look,
that happened?
good
He
move.
brought
Good move too.
what was his name? Um, Muddy Waters.
Oh,
He brought that
the,
baby
Buddy.
home. He
the
brought
girl
the
brought the
baby
baby. Yes,
home.
the girl brought the baby. Say y'all, baby needs. Yes, sure did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now the only thing about it, the wife of the husband who stepped outside the marriage, he was an interracial ship anyway. So the baby being biracial,
Worked.
it worked on that side.
If there is such a thing.
They didn't have. I mean, as far as
Oh,
appearances,
his wife white too.
yes, his wife.
Yes.
So
So it kind of
Oh,
worked.
okay.
It
so
kind of
as
worked.
far as appearances goes,
Kinda
it
worked.
worked on that
Yeah.
side.
Kind of worked.
But on the other side, because
Because
both
everybody was
the
white.
wife and the husband were
Yeah.
Caucasian,
Okay,
and
I
all the
got it.
kids were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
got it. But
Yeah.
you gave your baby. You just gave your baby okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the wife did that. I mean, there's some women who they say, look, this is my family structure. This is what happened. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this together. We're partners. There are women who will do that. And then there are
Yeah.
women who are saying, this is too much. They'll try. There's
That's
some
a
women
lot,
that will
though.
try, and
That's
then they're
a
like,
lot.
I just can't do it.
Marriage is tough enough
Yeah.
when you with your own kids that won't mind. that you keep telling them to take the trash out, they keep acting like they didn't hear you.
Oh,
I
man.
can't imagine looking at somebody, looking at my son or daughter with my wife, and she had that's a baby by somebody else, or vice versa.
Oh, man.
Marriage
Wow.
is tough anyway without
Wow.
all of the
Right.
extra stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
That's wild.
And we don't,
Wow.
and guess what? It's not necessary. There are people who are not being as, adult and as intentional and as
Mhm.
careful as they need to be. This situation does not have to happen, even if infidelity happens. It still don't have to happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you don't have to be up in there skeeting though.
No.
It's one thing to cheat though. Doc, you gotta help me. It's one thing to cheat.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
another
But you
thing
don't
to be
cheat, you don't
raw
cheat
dog.
any-
You raw dogging? No, that's
Yeah.
what we do.
We call it shooting up the club. You shoot the
You know
club
what?
up.
That's
That's
shoot the
what,
club.
yeah. Yeah. So then that's what some women's problem is. It's like, all right, so you did this, but you did it like this?
You gonna give it the rapid fire, huh? You just,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
You're
That's
right.
a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot, man.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
It is.
It is.
So-
Anthony talking about a weak pullout game.
Oh,
And your wife said, "Really, John? Really, John?" I can hear her saying that. Really, John?
Yeah.
Mia said, period. Mm-hmm.
and this is what we're trying to do. We're talking about this, just trying to bring some of that stuff that kind of hides in the shadows to the surface, so people can say, you know what? Let me think about this, because now I've heard
Yes, what happens?
what
goes
takes
into it.
place
Yes.
outside of
Yes.
what I can immediately see.
Yes.
Do I really want to take somebody through that? Do I really want somebody or a child to have to suffer through that, or XYZ? So let me think twice. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to bring to light a lot of this stuff so people can think twice about the decisions that they actually make, especially when you're married.
Talk to
That's
your spouse.
Yeah.
Talk. This is listen, talk, and not just talk, communicate. If you're unhappy, communicate that you're unhappy. Communicate it. Why are y'all spouses and partners if you can't do that, right? Communicate your displeasure. Ask them what they need. Ask them what you can do better at. That's the whole purpose of doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you can kind of sidestep a lot of that. I'm telling you again, there's 8 billion people. You have the cell phone. I hate the cell phone for relationships because back in the day, you used to be able to call the home phone.
Yeah.
You don't even know your
Yeah.
in-laws the same way because the in-laws used to have to call the house and speak to you. Hey, Genesis, yeah, how are you? And the kids, okay, blah, 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 and then hand it to my brother, my sister, whatever, right? They're
Right.
calling
Right.
them directly now. And I'm not even
Yeah.
talking about, the people that you would have
Oh yeah.
never seen since high
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
if
It's true.
Facebook
Yeah.
wasn't a thing. Now, the person that you had the crush on in high school is right there at your fingertips. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of access
Oh
that
wow.
wasn't there before. Yes.
Woo.
And we
I'm
need
a
to
kid.
be intentional about what we want from our relationships.
Yeah. I'm gonna create
You
a
wouldn't want it
create an
done
app
to you.
and call
You
it.
wouldn't want it
I'm,
done to you.
We need to
I'm
do
gonna
final
create an
thoughts.
app and call it that heifer. Every time that heifer call, the wife getting an alert. No.
And it's
So
dangerous
yeah, it is. It
because
is
some
very
people
dangerous.
will get psychotic. Okay.
Oh
In
yes.
those type of moments. So I wanted to leave that part there too.
So we're up to our final thoughts. What would you like to leave the people with, Miss Genesis?
Yes, I would like to leave the people with I need the men to understand, because we're talking about the wife today. I need the men to understand just how detrimental and how painful it is to your wife when you are unfaithful to her and how she questions herself. You don't have to understand it. That's what happens. She questions her own attractiveness. She questions everything about herself, and she can end up in depression and so on and so forth. You can lose your family. You can, I mean, is it worth it? Is the question. And if you're unhappy, talk about why you're unhappy. A lot of times there's issues with, the whole sexual nature of a relationship. You have to be adult enough to talk about that. What you want, what you're not getting, what you want to try, different things like that to spice it up. You have to have these conversations. So I'm saying you have to communicate, and communicating is not talking, it's making sure that your point is landed and making sure that their point has landed on you. So I really need men to understand that it is a very, very painful experience for women when their man has cheated on them. So I just wanted to leave with that.
Oh, wow. My final thought is this. Sometimes you gotta trick yourself into spending more time with each other and talking. And my wife, I noticed we would go to the casino, and I realized I would really enjoy. We were locked in the car with each other for at least an hour, and we would have the best conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized then perhaps maybe I need to go out, start taking her out a little more where we can just talk. Because man, it's going to take abnormal things to keep your marriage going. You
Yeah.
can't. We got to think outside of the box. We got to think, hey, I have to do everything in my power to make sure this thing goes like it's supposed to, man. And start having some more sex. Women, if y'all don't know what to do, pull them down right now and just toot it over. Because let me tell you something. He gonna be smiling, you gonna be smiling, and then we're gonna do away with that side chick. Okay, let's have some more sex. That's my final thought. Have more sex. That's my final thought.
I agree.
What we basically we're trying to bring to light consequences. One thing the devil does when you're in a moment, he does not want you thinking about consequences. He keeps you blind to consequences. So we're trying to give you consequences up front so that you're more aware. Self-awareness is one of the greatest powers we have for self-control and management of our own emotions and who we are as far as our character is concerned. A lot of times when we drift off into these relationships, our self-awareness has gotten low and we're blind. So be aware of your emotions. Be aware when you're hurting, when you're feeling neglected, when you're feeling like your spouse is not giving you the attention that you need. And like Genesis says, communicate it early and often, and give that person the opportunity to make it right before you go and make a decision that makes the whole thing go all wrong. So let's be smart. Let's think about it before we act. And that's my final thoughts.
Wow, that was heavy, man.
Yeah, man. That thing could have went so many different ways.
Wow.
That conversation could have gone so many different ways. If he says
Yes.
making sure that your point is landed.
Yes, because that's what I was trying to remember
Yeah.
what she said last
Yeah.
week. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the good one.
Stephanie says yes. Have lots of sex in marriage.
Yes. Do you know I will assign that as homework for couples. I tell them we
man.
have to have sex every night until our next session.
And I used to hate doing homework, but I would pass that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I used to hate homework, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think that wouldn't work for me. Yeah.
What Miss Genesis, let the people know how they can get in touch with you, how they can find you.
Yeah. People want more of that wisdom.
If you would like to get in touch with me, my phone number 704-258-1611. I'll do it again, 704-258-1611. I do have a website under construction, essentialtherapyservice.com, essentialtherapyservice.com. So I loved it. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming back once again.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely always appreciate the conversation. Appreciate the information that you leave the people with. I told you we've been getting these one-liners from you all week. People been tossing them out. So yeah,
Good.
people definitely enjoyed you. So we enjoyed you as well. Next week we're gonna get into the husband. We're gonna talk about the husband.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah. We're talking about the husband next week. And don't forget, we do have an audio version of our podcast. You can find it Apple, Google, Spotify, all the different platforms. It's available. It'll be available. We do an episode every week. So this episode will be available later on this week. So you can listen when you're in your car, when you're doing work, just whatever, you can take a listen to it too. And like my man said, like, share, and subscribe.
Please, y'all. Please, now. That's all we ask.
If you like what we're doing, tell somebody. That's all we want you to do. Let somebody else know.
Because the worst thing that could happen is we stop doing this and somebody come up to me and say, "Man, I really was enjoying that. Why y'all stop?" Well, they don't tell us. They don't tell us.
Right.
Stop, don't stop. People are loving it. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you once again, Miss Genesis.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Thank everybody that hopped on tonight, everybody in the comments, everybody that was just watching and listening. Hope you got something that made you think tonight. So we appreciate y'all. We're going to catch y'all. Don't forget next week. We're talking about the husband. So be here. Join us for the conversation. Catch y'all next week. Peace out.
Be blessed. Be blessed.